Losing feels worse than winning feels good. Statistics are used much like a drunk uses a lamppost, for support, not illumination. Good is not good when better is expected. As long as you live, keep smiling because it brightens everybody's day. Don't let the winds blow your dreams away, or steal your faith in God. It's a wonderful feeling being a bridge to the past and unites generations. The roar of the crowd has always been the sweetest music. It's intoxicating. God has a new adventure for me. I'm going to sit back, light up, and hope I don't chew the cigarette to pieces. It's easier to pick off a fast runner than to pick off a lazy runner. I've told several writers this, and, again, I get back to it, but if you want to make God smile, tell him your plans. Almost all of us growing up have played baseball on some level. It has an inside track with people. It has a unifying effect. To be honest, I've never been interested in how many games I've done and seen. It doesn't mean anything to anybody. All I know is I'm eternally grateful for having been allowed to work so many games. I really love baseball, the guys and the game, and I love the challenge of describing things. The only thing I hate, and I know you have to be realistic and pay the bills in this life, is the loneliness on the road. A man really determines himself by what he does. On radio, you're in your own little world. Every time I'd be doing a possible no-hitter, I think I've done something like 25 no-hitters in a couple of perfect games. I would always put the date on the tape. Not for me, but for the player, so that 25 or 30 years later when he's playing it for his kids or grandkids, you have that date. In all honesty, once you become a professional, number one, you're no longer a fan. I don't root for the Dodgers, really. I just try to do the game as best I can, and the winning and the losing will take care of itself. I don't like to be alone, but I do cherish the moments that I'm alone with a good book. I try to call the play as quickly as I possibly can and then shut up and let the crowd roar because, to me, the crowd is the most wonderful thing in the whole world when it's making noise. It's a great time of the year, if you can stand it. I would always say to kids, don't be afraid to dream because it can happen. If I can get a story about a player, I would give you a shipload of numbers, batting averages, and all just for that one precious story. That's the kind of thing that I love to do. I guess my thermometer for my baseball fever is still a goosebump. Be a bobbed cork. When you are pushed down, bob up. That is the way this game is. You win, you lose, you celebrate, and you suffer. I've always felt it's a gift of God. Whatever I have, Whatever has made me do what I do for as long as I do it. But I know I can lose that in 1 second. A stroke. Whatever. 1 second. Blow the whole thing. So, when you do think about that, you realize how fortunate and how blessed you've been, and that's really how I feel. I'm not a military general, a business guru, not a philosopher or author. It's only me. Some people die twice. Once when they retire, and again when they actually pass away. Fear of the first one is a big incentive for me to keep working. If you have a sombrero, throw it to the sky. It's a mere moment in a man's life between an all-star game and an old-timers game. There's that old saying, squeeze the juice out of life before life squeezes the juice out of you. I will try to squeeze the remaining juice out of life. God willing, I will be back next year. Over the years, I have been blessed to have so many friends, including those who sit in the stands and listen and those at home who listen and watch. It is just too hard to say goodbye to all these friends. Naturally, there will come a time when I will have to say goodbye, but I've soul-searched, and this is not the time. The charm about baseball is everyone has played it in some form. Everyone relates to it. I've always felt that I was talking to one person, but I've never envisioned who that one person is. Naturally, there will come a time when I will have to say goodbye, but I've soul-searched, and this is not the time. The only difference between a winning team and a losing team is 1 game. The winning team can win 2 out of 3 games. The losing team can only win 1 out of 3. I love baseball, and I don't want to be part of anything that would cheapen it or vulgarize it. I would say realistically, and I don't want any headlines, but I would say realistically that next year would be the last year. The ability to throw 100 miles per hour cannot be taught, cannot be learned. It can only be God-given. And also, it's an ever-gathering process. Suppose I pick up the sporting news or some sports publication and there's an article on somebody, and I think I might see that player. In that case, I will tear it out and put it in a file, and I have a loose-leaf book, so when we're going to play that particular team, I take out all these clippings and things I pulled out. I go through them, highlight them, put them in the book.